How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to State of the Steelers. I'm Daniel J., your host. This is the Huddle. I'm still out in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, enjoying my time out here, so that's why the background's a little bit different. However, just kind of want to talk to you guys a little bit about some of the players and highlight some of the guys that I thought played fantastic in this game. Some of the guys that probably don't get, a lot of credit and or have been probably ridiculed, here recently due to their play. And the first person I want to talk about is Devin Bush. Devin Bush has been a guy who, in preseason, his heart was questioned. He, it was his health has been in question. His knee has been in question. And his main mind state, whether or not he's able to return back from an injury like that, has been a question. And in my opinion, in the last couple of games, he's shown, he's put his face in the pile, so to speak. And in this last game, he had the pass breakup on the Tom Brady pass to Chris Godwin for the 2-point conversion that would have tied that game, could have changed the outcome of the game, could have changed the landscape of it. It was a huge play, in my opinion, and I think that Devin Bush is showing up. He's not back, in my opinion, to the form he was prior to the knee injury, but he's on his way up to that path. And I think, for one, this game kind of showed that he's, a little bit of those steps he's taking in the right direction. The next person I want to talk about that has been ridiculed quite a bit here recently is Chase Claypool. Chase Claypool has been a guy, including myself, that, a lot of people have been saying he's been a liability, so to speak. Not being able to stay on his feet or high point the ball, which caused like the interception, Kenny Pickett's first pass, things of that nature. And so, in my opinion, he really turned it around this game. I mean, I think in the last game, in the loss against the Bills, I felt that, there was that one play that Tony Romo kind of pointed out that, he wasn't being too quarterback friendly. But outside of that, he was playing physical. He was, they were giving him the ball. When he had the ball in his hands, he was being dominant with it and very physical, running people over, things of that nature, and falling forward. And so in this game, he really showed up with his hands, especially in key moments. He had a lot of third down and long catches that led to conversions of the third down. Led to third down conversions. I said that backwards. I apologize. And I just think he did a fantastic job in this game. And if he can continue to do that, and I think maybe perhaps it's because they may have found a home for Claypool in the slot, keep him short, keep him immediate, not try to throw him down the field, so to speak, for 50-50 balls. But keep him in the middle of the field, keep him in the slot. And I think that there might be a home there for Chase Claypool, and he can continue to execute in the manner that he's doing. Bravo to you, Chase. Way to go. Good game. The next person I want to speak about is the punt returner Sims, kick returner Sims. I think he did a fantastic job. I mean, he was able to, make some moves and get open on the punts and on the kickoffs. He had the one that almost took it to the house. He did have one mistake where that led to a sack on Kenny Pickett. I think it was on the second drive when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers scored the field goal, and he didn't get too far up on the field. But outside of that, I think he did a fantastic job, and I think that he solidified himself as the Pittsburgh Steelers punt returner, kick returner. I think this is could be the end for Garnoszewski. Right now, Calvin Austin is going into his final week of practice. At this point, the Pittsburgh Steelers need to place him on the 53, or he's done for the rest of the year. I don't know which way the Steelers are going to go in this situation. It's going to probably depend on how well Calvin Austin can return kicks and punts in practice, and if they can trust his hands. Because God forbid something were to happen to a Sims there, similar to against the Bills, where James Pierre was back there and had a fumble and gave the ball right back to the Bills after they went down and scored. Those type of situations can occur again, and so the Pittsburgh Steelers may keep, two guys that are return eligible or quality, and I think that's going to be Calvin Austin's possible way to make a helmet. But if he does, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers cut Gunnar Olszewski. I'm not sure which one they're going to go with yet. Calvin Austin missed a lot of developmental portion of training camp, where as a rookie, it's going to be kind of hard for him to come back and jump on a moving train. But, well, we'll see what happens. This is the last week. If Calvin Austin doesn't get promoted to the 53, he's going to be Dunskies for the year, per the rules. The Steelers can't bring him back. And the last person that I want to talk to everybody about, is for reference to a unsung hero, so to speak, is Mitch Trubisky. I think he did a fantastic job filling in for the injured, concussed Kenny Pickett. I think that he was decisive with his throws. I think that he pushed the ball down the field appropriately, especially on those third and longs. There was times where the fans were getting frustrated, even with Kenny Pickett in the game, in stadium, where boos were starting to come out because some of the play calls, especially in third and longer than 8 or so, were just giveaway plays that were dump off plays, things of that nature that weren't going to get a first down. And the boo birds came out, and it wasn't towards Kenny Pickett. I highly doubted that anybody in that stadium was booing Kenny Pickett, but I think that those boos were directed towards Matt Canada and the play calling in those situations. When Mitch Trubisky came in, those things kind of turned around. And even though the Pittsburgh Steelers were in third and long, Mitch Trubisky was able to find receivers down the field, most times than not, Chase Claypool, or if not, George Pickens, and convert third and long situations. So, he was decisive. He also used his legs when he needed to. If you go back and you listen to some of the podcasts and the stuff that I put out last week, I said that the Pittsburgh Steelers were going to have to attack this Buccaneers defense with some running plays from the quarterback. Marcus Mariota hurt the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with his legs, and I thought that was going to be an opportunity for the Pittsburgh Steelers to do something similar in this game. And fortunately for the Pittsburgh Steelers, they were able to capitalize on some of those situations. Kenny Pickett had a couple of good runs. Mitch Trubisky had a couple of good runs. It was a good day overall for the running game when it came to the running backs holding on to the ball. Najee Harris was okay. He had the touchdown pass from Kenny Pickett. Finally, Kenny Pickett gets a touchdown pass. But, the running game, he had one run that was 14 yards. Outside of that, it wasn't what we're expecting out of Najee Harris yet. But he just took a steel plate out of his shoes, so perhaps the future is bright for him, and he'll be in that upward trajectory as far as his health, and that will translate on the field as far as his production goes. And so I'm excited to see how that progresses. Jaylen Warren did okay. I was in the stadium. I haven't watched the game over again, so I'm going all based out of what I remember from the game. But Jaylen Warren played okay. And I forgot to mention this, Chase Claypool, he finally got a touchdown reception for a receiver this year. So another kudos to him. But, Kenny Pickett's concussed. Pittsburgh Steelers are going to go into Miami this weekend. Tua Tagovailoa, I completely butchered that. But Tua, he had that scary head injury earlier this year. And since then, not many, I don't think a player has come back the next game after being ruled out with a concussion out. Well, no, Minka Fitzpatrick was before then, and Minka Fitzpatrick's concussion was had a 10-day. There was 10 days between games, not 7 like these, and so given that, and given the information that is what's been put out there as far as how serious the NFL has taken the NFL protocol, concussion protocol, I honestly think that Mr. Trubisky is probably going to start this game, and I would prefer to see Kenny Pickett in it, but I think Mitch Trubisky is a solid backup in that he can go into this game and hold the fork, so to speak, for Kenny Pickett. I will say this, that looking at both games and both halves, Mr. Trubisky did a fantastic job. I'm not going to take anything away from him. I just think that Kenny Pickett looked a little bit more decisive with his throws. And that was probably a little bit of the difference between the two. Kenny Pickett knew where he wanted to go with the ball most of the time, and he made the right reads. I'm not saying that Mitch Trubisky didn't, but to me, it seemed like it took Mitch a little bit longer to make the right read and to find the open guy. And maybe perhaps it has to do with the fact that he's allowing plays to develop. But it did seem like that. And so, just the eye test, I think Kenny Pickett plays a little bit, they're pretty close, but he's probably a little bit better. And I think, be honest, when Kenny Pickett was in the game, it felt like the Steelers had an opportunity to convert. When it was Mr. Trubisky, it was like, hold your breath. But he was able to do it. So can't take that away from him. He's a solid quarterback. And like I've been saying it throughout the year, a lot of folks have said that he was a backup quarterback. I said, no, I think he's a top 30 quarterback in the NFL. I just don't think he's the top quarterback on the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I think he did a fantastic job, and if he ends up coming in and starting against the Miami Dolphins, I think that he'll continue to do a fantastic job. Now, I don't think that he's going to take the starting gig from Kenny Pickett unless he has something like 330 yards, 3 touchdowns through the air, 1 touchdown on the ground. And then maybe perhaps you're saying, all right, hey, you know what? That stat line is what it is. Let's look at this. Does he give the Pittsburgh Steelers the best opportunity to win? But if it's kind of more the same, maybe a touchdown, 210, 220 yards less, maybe 2 touchdowns, and the Steelers just, don't have as many third down conversions as we hope to have, then if it's close, I think you'll allow the rookie to grow with the team, grow with the receivers, grow with the offensive line, and there might be some growing pains in there, but in my opinion, he gets you the opportunity to go further, or a better chance to go further. But like I said, I think Mitch Trubisky did a fantastic job, and I think if he has to fill in this week against the Miami Dolphins, he'll do another fantastic job. Once I get back home, and we'll go over a little bit more about the upcoming game, and we'll talk about predictions and things of that nature. Also, guys, tonight, I'll be home by then, but tonight, the Unofficial Steelers podcast will be on my show, State of the Steelers. It'll be with me, Mark Davison from Steelers Nation Australia. I'm not sure if Nathan Hines is going to be on. He's also traveling as well. He might be on there from In Hindsight. Make sure you go subscribe to those guys. But with that said, guys, I just kind of want to jump down here real quick and talk to you guys about the unsung heroes of the game and some of the guys who stepped up in this game that, in my opinion, who needed to step up, not just for the game, but also for their confidence and for, the fans' confidence in these players as well. And I think they did a fantastic job. On to Miami tonight, Unofficial Steelers podcast. So please hit that like and subscribe button. Don't forget, guys, I'm giving away 2 tickets to the Steelers versus Vegas Raiders game. We'll be giving away those tickets on October 30th. That game is on December 24th. And so they'll be retiring Franco Harris's jersey at halftime. You can be a part of history. You can watch it all from the end zone in the lower level. All you got to do is be a subscriber. Ring that notification bell so you're notified of all our daily segments, weekly lives, special guests, and our Unofficial Steelers podcast. So with that being said, guys, I'm Daniel J. This is State of the Steelers. Peace.